Support for The Gaming Outsider is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code THEGOCAST at manscaped.com. What's happening, Gaming Outsiders? On episode 383, Zach, Alyssa, and I answer questions from the community. In news, there's even more acquisitions this week as Bungie was purchased by Sony, and the New York Times bought up the popular social media game Wordle. New games discussed include Tormented Souls and Windjammers 2. This is the Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to episode 383 of the Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community. It's Monday, January 31st. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my friends, Mr. Zach Parkerson. That bad, huh?
Welcome to the death of art.
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there, man. I promise. Also joining us, it's been way too long. I'm so happy to be talking to Miss Alyssa White once again. How you doing, Alyssa?
Good, especially since I'm with you guys now. A lot better.
That's awesome. I feel like I have to make the announcement that we have not kept Alyssa off the show.
No.
She had all sorts of internet issues. I think you had a whole week where you didn't have internet.
Yeah, a whole week.
Yeah, so she...
And I was supposed to be on the show that week, too. I'm like, no!
So, yeah, we did not exclude her whatsoever. She just has not been able to be on the show for quite a while. So I'm very glad to have you back. It's been way too long. And let's just jump right into it, Alyssa. Since it's been so long, what have you been catching up on?
I really just played Unpacking recently, which I know Grant talked about.
I was going to say, did we all play that because Grant recommended it?
I think so, because he sold me on it.
Yeah.
And it is just, like, so zen and calming.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't think a game of just unpacking things and placing it in a room would be calming. It sounds boring. But when you're actually in it, I played for 2.5 hours straight and didn't realize it was that long. And I'm like, why are my eyes bleary? I looked at the time, I'm like, 2.5 hours.
There you go. It's a mark of a good game when you lose time, right?
I was just so invested in decorating the apartments and houses and learning the character's story through what she had.
I mean, that's the part that intrigues me the most, right? Is that it tells a story through stuff.
See, the part that scares me is the decorating, because anytime there's something like that in a game, like Animal Crossing, or even Zelda did it, where you could like build a house and decorate it or whatever, I'm like, I have no interest in doing that. And that's like the majority of what that game is, which is why I've kind of avoided it a little bit, but it just seems too relaxing to avoid.
You can actually turn off, after you finish decorating, it'll tell you if something's in the wrong place, but you can actually turn that off in the menu, so you can just put stuff wherever you want.
Well, if there's a wrong place, then what's the point of decorating?
That's true. I mean, there are some objects, like, I thought they were bath towels, but they were blankets, and I was putting them in the bathroom. It's like, no, the game's like, no, it doesn't belong there.
That's not, well, I assume the main character must just be married then. Hey, that's not where that goes.
See, that would be the sequel, is like remembering where you put stuff, and then you just go ask your wife. Because that's what I do.
Right.
Where is this?
They always seem to know. They always seem to know.
Zach, what about you?
Oh, I'm still chugging along on Demon's Souls. It's got to be one of the most visually impressive games I've ever played, which is cool. Not something I often remark upon.
That's a good point.
Right. Yeah, but it looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm hearing from you, Rift Apart's going to look insane when I actually...
Well, how about not overselling it at this point?
Well, you're not.
No,
you're
it really
not alone.
is gorgeous.
Yeah. I mean, that's not really what I'm there for anyway. It's just I'm intrigued to see what it looks like, though.
Yeah. The bigger thing, I mean, it's visually impressive, but just the fact that I never once encountered any kind of glitch or slowdown. And you've played these games before, you know how much stuff is on the screen at one time.
Right.
And it's just seamless. That to me, it was more the impressiveness of how well the software ran on the hardware. That
right.
With it looking as good as it did. So,
and it's got really that ray tracing, dog.
Is there ray tracing in Rift Apart?
There's ray tracing mode, yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I never changed the modes, so for all I know,
I don't either.
You know what? I love that you guys are saying this, because I was thinking the other day, I'm like, So developers must have stats on who uses these modes in what way, you know?
Yeah, so just the default one is the one that they want to be higher statted.
Right. Well, and I'm wondering because if you go online, it's always 60 FPS. Anything lower, I'll kill myself.
Right.
You know, and it's like, settle down, guys. It's just a frame rate.
Mm-hmm.
But it really feels like that's the attitude. And I just wonder how many people never turn on performance mode because they don't care. Because most people
want to have something to complain about.
Yeah, I would just love to get some stats on that. But Demon Souls, exquisite. Absolutely a lot of fun. I've almost killed the second of the 5 major bosses, but he's tough.
So you still recommend me going into Bloodborne over this?
Yeah, this is... Well, I don't always remember Demon Souls as the hardest of the FromSoft games, and that remains true. Because a major part of Dark Souls that I think they learned was that you only had so many healing points in between a bonfire and a boss fight, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so they could only ever know that you have 5 heals, right? And you can upgrade it a little bit here and there. But therefore, you could design the boss around knowing, like, well, the player only has 5 heals, so we can really make this fair because we know how to judge, you know, what they have coming into the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Demon Souls, you can just carry 100 healing items if you want.
Ah, okay.
So the bosses just really mess you up because I think they thought they could get away with it. It just feels a lot less fair than the later From Software games to me.
And 100 healing items just seems like a constant reminder that this is a video game.
Right. Yeah, and it's not as mechanically engaging either. And you can carry a bunch of healing items in Bloodborne, but by then I feel like they learned what a fair boss fight is. And just Demon Souls, I don't think they had quite learned that lesson.
Gotcha. All right. It's on my, Bloodborne is on my list to try again this year. I am going to hold to it. So
are you just going to jump into Elden Ring? They said that Miyazaki said that's the easiest Souls-like yet.
Oh, man.
I do really want to play Elden Ring.
Yeah, I think it's going to change my life.
I imagine it will for you. I just, I don't know.
There are so many great games coming out around it that I'm kind of annoyed by its release date, though.
Yeah.
I know, February is just packed.
Yeah.
What else we got? We got
Horizon, Dying Light's coming out this week.
Right.
Sifu coming out next week. There's a JRPG called Monarch that I super want to play, but it's coming out 3 days before Elden Ring, so that's not going to happen.
Right.
And then like the week after that, I think is Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's 2 weeks after that, and then in between Elden Ring and Stranger of Paradise is Babylon's Fall, which is Platinum Games' new game. It's brutal out there.
It's a big month for you.
Yes.
It'll be Horizon month for me.
Right. Yeah. So I'll have to skip Horizon and somehow try to balance 3 Souls-like kind of games all at once, I guess.
Yeah. No, like I said, I promised in our resolutions episode that I would give Bloodborne another try.
I'll be on standby for co-op.
I imagine. How are you guys' resolutions coming, by the way?
I didn't make any.
You didn't make any?
Chosen on the episode, right?
I was not on the episode.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you weren't on that one.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to rub it in her face like that. But,
I really wasn't meaning to. I thought we did all 4 of us for some reason. You will be happy to know, Zach, that I have held fast to the 20 minutes a day with the phone off.
That's good. That's very cool.
Tomorrow we'll start 40 minutes a day, so we'll see.
That's pretty intense.
No, it's actually been kind of great. I actually left the phone upstairs while I was playing games of the day and just was surprised by how much more immersed into my game I was. Like,
that's how when I turned off vibration alerts, so like my phone is just always on silent all the time.
Yeah.
Man, that really did change my relationship with video games back to the way that I wanted them to be.
Yeah. I just have a lot of FOMO, like I'm going to miss some news story or some deal or...
Yeah, or, friends kind of expect you to be available right away, so you're like, oh no, I spent 12 minutes not replying. They're going to think I'm a mean fella.
That's twice you've almost slipped on this episode.
Oof, it's a pretty hot 9 minutes, guys, let me tell you.
What else, man?
I'm all fired up about the news we're going to talk about,
Apparently.
Yeah. All right, I'll try to rein it in, Mr. Clark. Otherwise, I'm still replaying Nier Automata, as I reported last week. I finished Route B, which is somewhere Scott never got to.
You're not going to let that go, are you? I still have that save fired up. I should just go beat that stupid boss.
Right.
And then start the game over again.
You know what? I was kind of thinking about you a little bit when I was playing Route B, because you play as a different character with different abilities in Route B, but part of it turns a lot of the combat into bullet hell.
Okay.
Arcade shooting segments, and you can kind of and it's up to you when to or not to engage the bullet hell action, and then it just made me think of you and CB and your love of arcadey.
That's more
games.
CB than me, but yeah, he's really good at shmups, and I am not.
Right. It's just a little twin stick shootery. It's cool.
Okay. Oh, I like those sections in the game at the beginning. I was actually a little bummed that it didn't get more in depth and a little bit more difficult. So
Route B would be for you.
There we go.
But yeah, it's great. I'm jumping right into Route C. It turns out so one of the best games ever. Who knew?
Maybe what I should have done is I should have, while you were here, just had you sit down and beat that boss for me, because it's been over a year since I've played it. I don't remember how to play that game. But just have you beat the boss for me, because you could do it probably with one hand, and then I could just start Route B over again. I should have done that.
Yeah. I mean, you want me to remote play it for you?
Can you do that? That's right. You can do that with Xbox, can't we?
Or replace it. Are you playing it on Xbox?
Yes.
Wow. That just feels so foreign to me.
Well, it was free. Wasn't it a Game Pass game? Or not Game Pass, but
it is on
Games
Game
with
Pass.
Gold. One of the two.
Right. No, I mean, well, it's funny because I did beat it on Xbox as well, just because why not?
Right.
But
gonna play it, might as well get a couple achievements for it.
May as well replay it again. But it just feels so weird to me playing Square Enix games on Xbox.
Yeah, I get that.
And who knows? The way things are going, it might be impossible to play Square Enix games on Xbox one day.
That's true.
Who knows? It has been the week of or the month of acquisitions, that's for sure. So I got a little confession to make in terms of games that I've been playing. I have no idea why I did this, but I decided to re-download Candy Crush. And I've been playing Candy Crush for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
You saw Microsoft was hurting because they just spent $70 billion, so you wanted to help them out.
No, that's not what it was. I've played Candy Crush. I uninstalled it because years ago, because I just, there's no end in sight, which is kind of the point. But I needed something to calm my brain, and Candy Crush has so little going on in terms of your interaction. It's just very simple, and I've been finding it a very good wind down thing for me to just, because if you lose, it doesn't matter. You just don't care. You just try again, and I don't know. I've missed those moments, but then I get obsessive with it and get on a run. The game does a really good job of making you want to keep going. I have still, fought the pressure. I've been standing strong, because it just seems silly to pay money for these little in-game currency things. I just refuse. I can just wait 20 minutes and play again later. You know what I mean? So,
right. But not everybody can. That's how they make it.
No, I know exactly, but I'm on in the 360s or something like that in terms of levels. So I've made quite a bit of progress. So I'm not ashamed to say I'm enjoying it. It's just a nice respite from anything else that just requires undivided attention, and I'm just digging it.
I don't think I've ever played it.
No?
So I can't
I've only played it once because my baby cousin tossed me his iPad and he said, "Alyssa, play Candy Crush for me."
Oh yeah.
He made me beat a few levels for him.
Nice.
That was a couple of years ago.
They do fun stuff too, where if you have friends that are also playing it, you can do little challenges to see who can beat a hard level before the other person, or you have this group effort deal where you combine, if you do a combined number of good things, then you unlock just extra little bonuses that you can use mid-level. There's some social interaction too, but it's very light. So but the thing that I spent most of my time on this week is I am so far down the rabbit hole in Nobody Saves the World, which I talked about last week. Guys, this game is great. I feel like there's always one game every year that's a game that looks like a Scott Clark game that just becomes my obsession throughout the year. Like last year it was Astalon. The year before that it was Children of Morta. The year before that, I can't even remember, but like, Undertale. Remember Undertale? Not Undertale. Undermine was a game I just obsessed over. And that's where I'm at with Nobody Saves the World. This is a smart little game. It starts out so simply, and then things just get ratcheted up in a way that I was not expecting. And you just hit little pockets of difficulty that are super satisfying to complete. It's very impressive how they're doing progression in this game, too. Because I'm at like level 21 or something like that. I don't know what the cap is. But even as I'm getting higher up in the levels, I'm still unlocking characters, and I'm still, leveling up at the same rate I was leveling up at the beginning of the game. You know how RPGs kind of, it just doles stuff out really quickly at the beginning, and then it slowly peters off, or quickly peters off?
Mm-hmm.
This one, since you're not tied down to just your normal level, you're also tied down to individual levels of each of the characters. And when you unlock a new character, it suddenly is really easy to unlock their early abilities. It just makes it feel like you're constantly doing things that work at a good clip. On top of that, there's so many things in the world that are checklisty. And you know how that appeals to my sensibilities, right? But there are so many things that you can't do early on because you don't have the ability, because you haven't unlocked that character yet. And it takes me a while to figure out that I can't do that. So I get frustrated because I'm the kind of person that wants to check everything off the list and then move on. But this game doesn't let you do that because you have to, do the other things first. But it's really satisfying. Like, let me give you an example of a mission that I had. You join a thieves guild, and your first mission for the thieves guild is to do this. The quest is called a big heist. So this guy takes you to the store, and all right, we're gonna get this item, and it's like a real big complicated process. And all right, what is the process? And he's like, well, you have the ability to transform into all these different characters, and the item that we want is on sale for 5 gold pieces, but he'll only sell it to one person. You can't get 2, so we need you to transform into 4 different characters and purchase the same item. That's the quote unquote heist. That's the joke. This is kind of funny, but the shopkeeper will only sell to human characters. So if you have animal characters or like I've got a mermaid character that's not it's like half human, then the shopkeeper won't sell it to you. So you have to wait until you get 4 human characters in your party to be able to purchase all 4. I don't know. It's just clever little things like that once you finally unlock that 4th character and get to go complete that mission, it feels satisfying to check it off the list. It's great.
Well, it sounds like Drinkbox really thought the concept through, which is nice to hear.
They did. And I mentioned last week that the art style wasn't growing on me, or I didn't like it too much. It's starting to grow on me a little bit. And the humor is very tongue-in-cheek. It's not like in your face or anything like that, but I am absolutely loving this game, and I think I've described games like this in the past. It's the one I'm thinking about at work and wish I were playing. And that's, like I said, mark of a good game. So Nobody Saves the World. People need to play it. It is so much fun. It's
on Game Pass, right?
It is. It's completely free. Alyssa, you should check it out because it starts out stupid easy. Like, I was like, is this game going to be this easy? And it stays easy for a while. And then it just starts to throw things into the mix, but it never feels overwhelming. It's just really smartly made. And I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
I thought you were going to say I should play it because there's a cat.
There's not a cat yet that I've come across. Doesn't mean there's not one coming. There's 18 unlockable characters that you can have in your party at one time. So I've got a mermaid, a rat, an egg.
That doesn't sound very useful.
I don't want to spoil it because there's a really clever thing that they did with the egg character to complete that you have to complete one mission, but it's a really clever way that they came up with it. So anyway, that's all I've been catching up on. Let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. Quite a bit happened, a lot of it happening today, actually, as of this recording. First off, we got a trailer for a new operator for Apex Legends called Mad Maggie. We also got a trailer for the upcoming Halo the series, which will be released on March 24th on Paramount+. We got new games available on Games with Gold and PlayStation Plus. Apparently, The Rock is going to be in another video game movie. Blizzard announced they're working on a new IP. EA has 3 Star Wars games in the works. And the New York Times purchased Wordle, the popular social media or the popular word game taken over by social media. And lastly, the big one of the week is Sony has acquired Bungie. Lots of things to talk about, but Alyssa, which story sticks out to you the most?
I would say probably Sony acquiring Bungie.
Yep, yeah. I'd say that's a pretty big one.
I heard about it from you first, Thought. You texted me and Zach and told us.
Mhm.
I'm like, what? I have to confirm this.
Yeah,
I see how good my journalistic integrity is.
I believed you. I wanted to find the details. And
yeah, I believe
they
you,
purchased
Scott,
them for, was it, how many $billion?
$3.6 billion.
I was going to say 3.6. If I get it wrong, I became insecure.
Well,
Isn't it crazy that we hear 3.6 billion now and just like
that seems
drop
small.
in the bucket?
well, the landscape has so fundamentally been changed by the Activision, deal.
Right.
Just change it. I mean, buying Bungie for the price of almost a Star Wars is insane.
Yeah.
Man,
I mean,
Disney got a deal, huh?
They did.
Sure did. And we thought that was a large amount back when Star Wars was purchased. And that's like the benchmark now. I love that that's our benchmark for every time somebody makes this big acquisition is how many Star Warses was that?
It's like the second most recognizable piece of American pop culture. Right behind Marvel, right? Like it's just everybody knows what Star Wars is. So the fact that you can buy a game developer that, the more casual audience probably doesn't even know of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's insane.
And I feel dumb for asking, but what else does Bungie have right now besides Destiny?
I believe that's it.
Right. They made some blog posts last year about creating new Bungie worlds or something vague like that.
Mm-hmm.
But Destiny's the only thing we know of. And they had a $100 million investment from NetEase to help make something that they're working on. So something's cooking over there that's not Destiny. We just don't know what it is yet.
It would have to be, and Sony has to be privy to that, obviously.
Right. Yeah. And apparently whatever they make is going to stay multi-platform.
Which is good news.
That was said right at the top.
That is good news.
That is good news, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just bring it cross-platform. You know what I'm saying? Can you play Bungie cross-platform? I'm not a big Bungie guy. Or not Bungie, but Destiny. Can you play Destiny cross-platform?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I know you can play it for free.
The base game, but all the DLC stuff.
Not the expansions or DLC.
Right.
If it is crossplay, it's nice that getting bought, they won't have to pay Sony the ridiculous fee to allow their games to be cross-platform anymore.
Right. So, Zach, obviously this bothers you, as you alluded to at the top of the show.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks, man. It just sucks. Consolidation is frustrating. Especially, I don't know if did you read any of the GameIndustry.biz interview with Jim Ryan?
No, I didn't. About
this, where he talks about how they were looking at their internal studios and they were like, boy, we really need a games as a service to compete, and a shooter would be nice in the portfolio. Then he's like, well, then I had the idea of like, why struggle to make our own thing if we can just buy somebody to have their thing? Like, he said that. It's just a very Lex Luthor sentence to say. And I mean, that checks out Jim Ryan, who is just completely divorced with the player base of his product.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's certainly a shrewd business move. I am shocked that Bungie is worth $3.6 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, Destiny 2, according to what I could find, Destiny 2 made $300 million in microtransactions last year, which is certainly significant, but does not scream $3.6 billion acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
And every time one of these happens, man, I just keep thinking about Insomniac, who sold for $220 million after resisting anybody buying them for 2 decades. And I'm like, man, if you guys had just held on 3 years,
yep,
that price tag would have gone from $229 million to $7 billion.
Right. And I might have been able to play Spider-Man on an Xbox if they had waited.
Well, I don't know about that. But I mean, it's madness, man. It's just crazy out there. like that's what I'm talking about. Like when people seem like don't care about consolidation, like that's removing competition that breeds new ideas.
Right.
You know, that just kind of like, instead of, oh man, what's the exciting new thing we can get out of Sony Cambridge or whatever, there's like, nah, dog, we're just gonna buy Bungie instead. It just kind of sucks. I get it, and I don't know. It's just because I love this medium as an art form so much that, you know, seeing business creeping up and seeing this really dumb billionaire arms race for games content is just frustrating to watch.
I wonder if this is just the beginning. I know the big one obviously was last week, but I wonder if this is just going to keep happening, or because I mean, who's left? Ubisoft, EA.
Or I feel like Square Enix is an easy target for PlayStation because most of their games are already exclusive to PlayStation anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
What's that offshoot one that always does the comedy things when they do their press releases?
Devolver?
Devolver Digital.
Yeah, that seems like a company on the outside that wouldn't sell on principle, but
right.
I've been fooled before.
I mean, there's also Annapurna Interactive.
Right?
Yeah, they're getting bigger.
Mm-hmm. I could see them getting acquired one day.
I mean, honestly, anything's on the board now.
Right.
But,
that's true.
But what I find fascinating about the Sony Bungie deal is like, this would have, Jim Ryan said this was in the works, you know, as of half a year ago. So this is not a response to Activision, even though on paper it's pretty funny that Microsoft bought Crash Bandicoot, so then Sony bought Bungie. Like, I think that's a pretty funny story, but this obviously would have been in the works months ago.
Well, so did the Activision Blizzard thing had to be in the works months ago too.
Sure, of course. It's just this. What I'm saying is, this is not the Sony response to the Microsoft acquisition of Activision yet. This is something that was already happening. So I feel like their next move, because it does seem like they want to play ball in the acquisitions arm race. Like whatever happens next, I feel like it's just going to be bigger. And I feel like Square Enix is probably the most, right? Yeah. I feel like that makes
natural.
Yeah, it feels like it makes the most sense. And then Japan kind of sticks together in that way too.
Right. And I mean,
if I continue my last rant thought real quick before I let you guys talk, is Microsoft's $70 billion, Sony $4 billion, Nintendo, yo, check out this Kirby game though.
That will be $60 for the next 20 years.
Right. It's just if it wasn't already clear, Nintendo is just not a competitor in this, you know, arena. Like they're just off doing their own thing. I know, it's just like, it's so clear now that like they're just doing their thing. Being wildly successful, selling more consoles than either of the competitions.
Right. I wonder if there's still any water, you can hold any water to the whole thing about Microsoft and Nintendo talking to one another. Remember how that was like all the rumors last year?
Well,
like, I think getting Game Pass games on the Switch and stuff like that.
I think that's inevitable.
Yeah. Hope so. That'd be cool. But
it would be cool.
Anyway, do you have any more thoughts on that, Alyssa? Or
pretty much everything that's been mentioned.
Yeah. It's kind of it doesn't affect me too much because I don't really play Destiny.
Well, if you think about it, it doesn't affect anybody. If they're truly going to say multi-platform and all their games going forward are, and it's going to be a Mojang situation, right, where it just the property they're attached to just keeps going everywhere. Like, it honestly doesn't affect any of us.
I mean, it affects the employees, I think. I can't imagine what morale has to be over at Bungie with everything that they've gone through. Because they were under Microsoft. You know, they left Microsoft in 2007. Then they got acquired by Activision, and they left Activision to go independent in 2019.
So they were never acquired by Activision, right? They just had a 10-year deal with them, exclusive deal.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, and then they got to break the contract basically and take Destiny with them.
So they were super excited that happened.
Right.
And then I read that they found out from like a blog post.
Yeah, that's
before.
I read that
man.
too.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Well, or Jason Schreier, of course, man of questionable character but quality journalism. Tweeted out that he's like, yeah, I was trying to interview the bunch of people I know about this story, and they're all like, wait, what happened? Like, that would be a pretty terrible way to learn.
So Jason Schreier emails you, you know something's up.
Right.
Yeah, I'd like to, if he emails you for an interview or calls you for an interview or tweets at you for an interview, you know something's up with your company.
And if he unblocks you on Twitter, it's because he wants to read your review of his book.
That too.
You may get blocked again.
Did he keep you blocked?
No, I'm still unblocked.
Nice.
I just imagined him like looking at the review and going like, I wonder what this Go Cat Zach guy's about. And he's like, oh, I guess I haven't blocked. I guess I'll just unblock him. It's just really funny to me.
That is funny. Anyway, Zach, what other story are you interested in talking about besides Sony and Bungie?
Oh man, I mean, dude, this is quite a news week. I feel like
It is.
you know. I guess I don't know. I'll just jump right up the list. The New York Times bought Wordle. That's depressing.
You could almost lump that in with the same story. I would count that in the same.
Yeah,
really.
well, I guess my feelings are mostly the same. Like, oh, that sucks. What's especially frustrating about this is like just earlier today, I was talking about how cool it is that this guy has turned down all these people trying to buy it out. Like, you have all these investors and stuff on Twitter whining and complaining that this guy won't sell or license it or do anything. And you're like, yeah, man, finally, somebody just wants something good to exist in this world. What a guy. And then sells it in New York Times. And New York Times not even playing around. They're like, yeah, it'll be free during the transition, but it'll be behind our paywall. We need to increase our digital subscribers. Like, at least they're upfront about that. But it was just like, what a cold and calculated move. It was just really weird coming from like guy going like, no, I won't even license it or make an app because I just want it to be free for everybody. And then he's like, oh, the New York Times though? Obviously, I will sell.
And only, I mean, they said something about low 7-digit purchase price.
Yeah.
Which
it was just
like you could have got a lot more.
It was just nice to have it while it lasted, I guess.
I know.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
I
not gonna be
like
playing it when I have to pay for it.
Yeah,
if people don't know what we're talking about, it's a word game.
There's no way,
dude. You'd be surprised. In our Discord, a bunch of people.
You know what?
Like,
I guess
what the hell is Wordle?
Not a single one of my coworkers knew who Bungie was, and
really?
they all play video games.
Wow.
So you're right. There are probably a bunch of people who do not know what Wordle is.
So yeah, for those people that don't know what Wordle is, it's basically the board game Mastermind, but done with words instead of colored pegs, if that makes sense. So you get a blank 5-letter word. You have to guess what it is. It will mark a letter green if you've got it correct. It will mark a letter gray if you got it incorrect.
Unless you're colorblind.
Oh yeah, what do you do for colorblind mode? Is there a
orange
mode?
Orange if it's correct, like a light blue if it's in the wrong spot.
Ah, okay. And yeah, then it has a different color if it's a correct letter but in the wrong spot. You basically have like 5 or 6 guesses just by spelling the word. I mean, it's just Mastermind. It's like literally what it is. But it's taken social media by storm. I made one post with my Wordle, and now I decided I wasn't going to post them anymore because
it's not. I don't like
everybody
either.
Is just posting.
Oh, my Facebook is full of them.
Yeah, it's very frustrating.
Well, that's going to go away. So
yes. Well, the frustration part is that it sounds like New York Times is going to put it behind their newspaper paywall, not like if it was just like a $2 a month for a Wordle, I'd be like, yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like they want to increase their New York Times digital memberships, and this is not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not going to subscribe to a paywall, publication.
No.
The internet is there.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll be playing Gary Whitta's version instead.
Loodle.
Yep.
What is that?
Dirty.
Dirty words.
Yeah.
Oh. I like it. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Gary Whitta.
I don't know if I know enough dirty words. That'll be interesting.
I think it's
tough.
It's way harder.
It is. I run out of words sometimes. I'm like, what? What could possibly be this word be? Like, is it a Gen Z thing?
And I almost cursed twice on this podcast.
Like that's never happened before.
All right, it's just
Zach. I'm going to give you another one because that one technically kind of lumped in under the acquisition story.
Well,
so.
I'll just keep going back up the list, man.
Mm-hmm.
EA has 3 Star Wars games in the work. Right, so it's all coming out of Respawn, who is apparently just the Star Wars factory now.
Hey, that's fine.
So you had Fallen Order 2. They're working on a first-person shooter, and they're working on a strategy game with a Bit Entertainment or something. I don't totally remember the co-developer's name, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Respawn making a bunch of Star Wars games.
I mean, we're getting a bunch of Star Wars games even just outside of that.
Right, yeah, so I rounded up. So this makes, I think, 8 in active development Star Wars games with Lego Skywalker Saga, KOTOR Remake, Fallen Order 2, the FPS, the strategy game, all the Respawn trilogy. The Star Wars Hunters coming to mobile, Star Wars Eclipse coming out of Quantic Dream, and then, of course, Ubisoft is making that open world Star Wars game we know nothing about. That's a lot of Star Wars, man.
There's a lot of Star Wars. I'll take it, though.
I will too.
See, I like Star Wars, but that's a lot.
Well, it's not like it's all coming out the same month.
No, you're right. And the KOTOR remake, I didn't even think about this, but one of my friends on Twitter, shout out to Diego Rivera, pointed out, like, imagine a KOTOR remake with a Final Fantasy VII fusion combat of turn-based in real time, and I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty perfect. Yep. Yeah, so, I mean, so a lot of this stuff has potential, don't get me wrong, and obviously Respawn knows how to put together a shooter. It's just, if I could either have a Star Wars shooter or Titanfall 3, I would want Titanfall 3.
Gotcha.
It's just, or I would want to see Respawn do something new, or maybe make an Apex campaign game, even though it's in the Titanfall universe, just to utilize it. And it's just, I'm sure it will be great, and I'm sure it will be fast-paced and use a kinetic shooter kind of mindset. And obviously, Vince Zampella has not made a bad game yet, right? I don't think.
I mean, he's behind Modern Warfare, right?
Right, all the Call of Duties you care about, and then the Titanfalls. Yeah, so I think we're all right. I think we're in good hands there.
I would say so, yes.
So you guys, I say you guys are excited about the Respawn free game thing?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, anything Respawn does. I mean, I really liked Fallen Order.
I love that game.
Yeah,
I feel like I would need a recap of the story, especially the end. I only saw it the one time when I played it at launch. I would want a refresher before I jumped into 2. But speaking of, I got to dance around this in case of spoilers. But are you caught up on Boba Fett?
Yes. I think I know what you're going to mention.
Well, I'm not gonna.
I mean, are you talking about a droid? A little guess?
Yeah.
I heard about it.
Oh, okay.
It came up in my circles. It's hard. Look, Boba Fett is an interesting show. It is difficult for me, a lifelong Boba Fett fan, to see that character and think Boba Fett.
No, I get you. I mean, there's got to be something under his mask, right?
No, yeah, that's fine. It's just like all the books and comics of my lifetime, including even like after Disney stuff. Like, he's just always been a certain kind of character, and now he's basically a Disney prince. He wants to be a crime lord that doesn't commit crimes.
Right.
It's just a weird choice.
I mean, the mystique is gone, right?
Yeah, that was gone as of episode 2, right? Like,
when
you find out he was just a daddy's boy. And that's all well and good. It's just, for a character who's, like, most famous Star Wars line before this, came from a comic where he's like, you can run, but you only die tired.
Right.
To then be like, oh, you didn't pay me tribute? It's cool, man. Just give me next time. What?
Really mellowed out there.
Yeah, that's really mind-boggling. But
with
anyway,
that said, I would really love to hear your thoughts on the latest episode because I really liked it. But that's all we'll say about that.
It features a guest star who sounds way more like Boba Fett than Boba Fett.
Yeah. Oh, hey, speaking of Boba Fett, did you see the release footage from Star Wars 1313? Was it 13?
Oh, yeah, I guess that kind of fits in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm now even sadder than I was about that game getting canceled.
Yeah, because it looked like Boba Fett was going to be a playable character in that game.
Yeah, which we've known for many years. It was originally supposed to just be a random smuggler on the 1313 level of Coruscant. But then, as detailed in one of Jason Schreier's first book about all the canceled games, George Lucas literally just like walked in there like, it'd be cooler as a Boba Fett game. And then they had to change it to Boba Fett and rewrite the entire storyline, even though the team did not want to make a Boba Fett game.
But because George Lucas said it?
Just because George Lucas passed by the hallway at the wrong time, basically. They had to change direction of the whole game. And the most frustrating part is the game was apparently like 80% done when Disney came in and canceled it. That's brutal. It looked like Uncharted with Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Give me the game. Resurrect it. Bring it back right now.
It'd be so good.
And he had like this cool, like ragged and torn armor like going on. It's oof. Yeah. Don't bring that up. Why are you bringing that up, man? Why are you trying to?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Oh, Zach's heart's broken.
Pour salt in the wound there. My bad.
My bad. He's my favorite Star Wars character my entire life. It's just.
He's been a lot of favorites.
I wanted to quickly mention Disney's making a lot of games. Because they're making 8 Star Wars games. They're making Midnight Suns, Marvel Midnight Suns, Spider-Man 2, Wolverine. Amy Hennig's making a Marvel game. They're making an MMO out of the DC Universe Online studio. It's just insane, man. There are licensed games everywhere. I just don't know how to handle it. Are we out of ideas? Is that what's happening?
Well, I mean, it's not like all rehashing stuff. I mean, it's new things with familiar characters, right?
Yeah, it's just as exciting as an Amy Hennig Marvel game is, wouldn't it be cool if Amy Hennig had a new idea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to see what her new ideas, but
it's just
new ideas aren't a sure thing.
It just is what it is. Yeah, you're right, and it's just I think that's just a world we're living in.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing
I don't understand the 1313 thing though. I feel like no matter what that game is, it would do well at this point.
And it seems to have been mostly complete, and yeah, I would just pick up the assets and publish it. Because even if it's like a 12-hour linear game, it's a Star Wars game of Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna do well.
People will buy it.
Yeah,
a 12-hour Boba Fett game sounds amazing.
It sounds perfect.
Like I just don't get it, but
yeah, it's very wild.
Anyway, the story I wanted to talk about. There's a few things here. Can we? I don't want to count this as my story, but can we talk about the Halo trailer?
Well, I mean, I feel like we're going to talk about everything anyway, Scott. So
okay, all right.
I mean, it just seems to be the way things are going.
So the Halo trailer dropped, and when I say Halo, I'm talking about the Paramount Plus television series that was shown during the AFC Championship game yesterday, as of this recording. Lots of different opinions on this thing. The most standout thing to me was that it is not Steve Downes' voice, which was very distracting, especially since it is, I don't know the actress's name.
Jen Taylor.
Jen Taylor is, the voice of Cortana.
That's what makes it jarring to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it's a TV show with a new chief actor, a new Cortana actor, I'm like, well, yeah, okay, makes sense. It's an adaptation. But this would also be true if Master Chief was Steve Downes and Cortana was somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just either bring over the duo we've known for 20 years or
make a new duo.
Or recast it, for your adaptation,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's just...
Especially the way that the last game went, the way Infinite went.
Right.
In terms of story. Like, there's always been such a connection between those two characters. Right. Even just a different voice almost makes it seem like they're not the same characters anymore.
Yeah. And it's just... To me, it's just like Jen Taylor being the voice of Cortana is just going to be a constant reminder that this is, it's a halfway attempt.
How did you feel about her not being blue?
I don't care.
Okay, a lot of people do.
No, I know, and I understand that. I would prefer if she was blue. Mm-hmm. I don't know why you make her all human looking, other than I guess you're trying to target a mass audience as well, and maybe grandma at home with her Paramount Plus subscription would feel weird about a blue lady, I guess. But ultimately, I don't really care.
I don't have a huge issue with it either. I mean, it is weird seeing her not being blue and being a human, but I don't have an issue.
Right.
Outside of that, what do you guys think?
It sure was a trailer, man.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. Man, I feel so negative on the show this episode. I want to quickly. I am excited about the Star Wars and Marvel games, and that all the DC games. Okay, it's a lot of licensed games. I just wanted to address that real quick before somebody writes in. I'm excited. It's just it's just an overwhelming amount of licensed games all happening at once. In addition, with the consolidation, it's a lot to take in. Now, Halo, I'll try to a little bit positive. The elites look rad, which is cool because I was really. I don't know why, but I had this weird worry that they would change how the Covenant look for like budget reasons or mass market appeal reasons. So it's cool to see them be them. To me, I don't know, framing a TV show around Master Chief is not the direction I would have taken, but I'm willing to give it a chance. It's just, I do think it's going to be hard for me and my sensibilities to get over the, Orange is the New Black actor's voice with the video game Cortana's voice. It's just going to be hard for me to get over.
Wait, the actress is from Orange is the New Black?
Master Chief is Porn Stash.
Pablo Schreiber.
Yeah,
that's who that voice is.
Is it Pablo? What's his name? I apologize.
Schreiber. He is Liev Schreiber's brother.
Really?
Yep, they're brothers.
It looks so different.
Yeah, they don't look anything alike.
Yes, well, but yeah, Pablo Schreiber is the Master Chief.
I did not know that. Of all the, never in a million years would I have guessed that's who they would have chosen. That's bizarre.
I wouldn't have either.
They announced this casting in like 2017, guys. Where you been?
Did they? I didn't hear.
I guess it's possible they recast him, but because
I knew he was cast. I'm just saying I wouldn't have
Didn't have a
pictured
clue.
him in the role.
He's not
Yes.
bad. I mean, he's not Steve Downes, but it's an acceptable replacement. But like you said, coupled with it still being the original Cortana voice is jarring.
Yeah, do you think
my thing is... go ahead.
Do you think they'll show his face? Because they show his back, which was already
They
a little
better not.
much.
They better not.
I think that would too. I would probably turn it off.
Yeah?
I think that would be impossible to take.
Yeah. He's got a porn stash.
Well, that's what it is. I mean, he's already not a ginger, which kind of sucks because Chief's a ginger.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't like. I'm not sacred on my adaptations. I just feel like it's such a core part of Master Chief that we've not seen his face.
Mm-hmm. And then
That to
reveal it
see-
on a television show.
Yeah, that would really upset me.
Mm-hmm. I gotcha. My thing is I'm not really clear on the story. I don't know I'm not big on the lore of Halo as it is. And they're calling this like a silver timeline, which is supposed to be like not canon to the games.
Okay.
But it also feels like they're going to be starting over. So you're going to get a little backstory with Chief and, being a Spartan and all that. I don't really understand where the story's going at all. Also, there's Chevy Tahoes in the future still.
Gotta make that product placement.
Yeah.
I don't know about the storyline either. I feel like a Halo show would have been better served by Master Chief being this kind of almost a mythic figure who shows up every now and again. It's kind of like talked
Right.
about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think that would make a lot more sense.
He looks good though. In that assault
looks
rifle.
Just like the game. It was cool.
Yeah. We don't get enough of that where the stuff looks exactly like the game. The weapons,
Hopefully,
the enemy.
The Rock's next adaptation looks just like whatever he's adapting.
You know what? Let's go ahead and move on to that story. What do we think? Because here's what happened. The Rock tweeted out and said that I should probably just read the quote, right? He said, I don't have the quote in front of me, but he's not allowed to say which game, but he is going to be in another video game movie. Here we go. We're going to bring one of the biggest, most badass games to the screen, one that I've played for years, and that's as much as we know.
Alyssa, what's your guess?
I would say Gears of War.
Right.
I have seen people on Facebook and Twitter saying it's going to be God of War, but
The reason they
I
said
don't
God
know.
of War is because Arnold Schwarzenegger
did the Zeus thing?
Yeah, he tweeted the Zeus thing and said that, February or whatever. So people were speculating that was a movie or something. And I was talking to my buddy Aaron, our buddy Aaron, and apparently that's looks like it's going to be just a commercial, like a Super Bowl commercial or something.
Aaron Peterson of The Hollywood Outsider.
Yes, Aaron Peterson of The Hollywood Outsider. That our page links to, apparently.
It does.
That's a little baseball behind the scenes.
Anyway, so I saw someone do a side by side with God of War, saying, well, maybe they're going to be making a God of War movie with The Rock as Kratos and Arnold Schwarzenegger as
I would
Zeus.
be way into that.
Yeah, but no, my first thought was Duke Nukem. The fact that he said for years,
Is
I
that
know
a
that Gears has been
character-
around.
Is that a character
I
you
know.
can bring to the screen?
I know where you're going with that. In today's culture, could you bring Duke Nukem? You could for different reasons. I mean,
Well, I guess Peacemaker is kind of just Duke Nukem.
oh,
If you're watching that show.
Yeah.
He is that kind of crass, sexist, racist loser.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you do it in a way that is not glorifying him, you could get away with it, maybe. But I mean, you can't really tame Duke and make it
He
appeal
can't
to
be
fans.
tamed.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
I'm with Alyssa. Gears of War. Dave Bautista as Marcus Phoenix. Dwayne Johnson as Dominic Santiago.
yep.
I'd be there opening day.
Yeah, I somebody on my Facebook message said that he could play Marcus, and I was like, "There's no way that Rock is
No.
Marcus. He would be Dom, 100%
Yeah,
Dom."
I just don't think. I feel like Dave Bautista might destroy Hollywood wall from wall if anybody else is Marcus Phoenix.
Yeah, probably.
Because he's talked about how he's pitched a Gears movie to a bunch of producers. He was in the Gears Ultimate Edition as Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
He's very. That's his golden goose, his white whale rather. Is
The
getting a
two of
Gears
them
War
though
movie.
in a Gears of War movie.
Would that
I
not be killer?
I would watch
would.
the hell. I mean, I would watch it anyway, regardless, right?
Right, but that would be some real star power, some gravitas to your Gears of War movie.
Yeah. Who else? Like who doesn't matter who Carmine is, right?
No, yeah, Carmine's just got to have a helmet and die.
Yeah.
Maybe have Ryan Reynolds be in the suit just so we can, get him out of the picture in a movie.
He and The Rock are friends, so
Right.
he could throw him in there.
Oh, man. Ooh, Baird.
His voice would make sense for that too.
Baird's my favorite Gears character. I don't know who I would cast as him though.
Baird, I'm trying to think. Oh man, who's the guy from Firefly? Plays the pilot.
Come on.
Alan Tudyk?
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk could be good. Yeah, because Baird's got a bit of a ego and arrogance about him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a Timothy Oliphant.
Oh, there you go. I like that.
A good Baird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you got the Coltrane baby. Whoa.
I mean, Terry Crews.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean we're talking about a really expensive movie right now.
That's fine. I mean, they make expensive movies all the time. I'm sure Gal Gadot, Ryan Reynolds, and The Rock could not have been cheap for Red Notice.
It's true.
They said that was the most expensive movie Netflix has ever made.
No doubt.
And there are 2 more sequels.
We just solved the Gears of War movie on this podcast, though.
I like that. Dave Bautista as Marcus Phoenix. Dwayne The Rock Johnson as Dominic. What's his last name?
Santiago.
Timothy Oliphant as Baird. Ryan Reynolds as Carmine. we just casted the movie for them.
And then Terry Crews as Augustus Cole.
Terry Crews as Augustus Cole. How much are you going to crap your pants if that's the exact cast?
Would that be insane?
That would be insane. Like, nobody else can do Coltrane.
Yeah, man.
Better than Terry Crews.
That would be
right.
He's got the energy to go. Welcome to the Coltrane, baby. Woo! Like you could just see him doing all of that.
Yeah. The only other I could think of, and he's not even an actor, is that football player in that commercial. Can you get some cold cuts? Remember that commercial?
I'm unfamiliar. I don't really see.
I don't know that commercial.
Yeah.
Sports people know.
I say you don't.
The Ricky something.
The only time you see commercials now is during live TV, and the only live TV left is sports.
That's true.
And you're with 2 weebs.
Right, yeah. We're not watching those sports, man.
I think of you guys whenever I'm scrolling through TikTok, by the way, and I see there's this guy that makes these posts that says, when the organist at church is a weeb. And if you didn't put the word weeb in there, I wouldn't think of you guys. But so he'll play randomly soft.
I've seen those.
Soft, ambient church music, but you can hear the Final Fantasy theme or, other stuff that I don't recognize because I don't watch anime. It's pretty funny. And
awesome.
the priest or whatever clergyman is given this very intense, not intense, but just very serious monotone benediction. And in the background, you just hear this soft ambient video game or anime music, and it's kind of great.
And then the priest does his big finish for the speech, and you just hear bum 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 bum.
That would be amazing. He just grabs that staff and spins it in the air.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That would be so good. Let's go ahead and move on. I want to remind everybody that we are an independently funded podcast, which means that we do pay for our podcast hosting services, website, all that on our own, which is why we have a Patreon page where fans can contribute monthly to help offset the cost of production as well as give back to the community. If you'd like to help us out, you can do so at patreon.com/thegocast. And I'm going to say publicly right here, I'm going to actually apologize publicly that we have not been able to keep up with the content that we have promised on that. We are going to make it up this month. Zach and I have committed to recording episodes each week to get caught up. I'm going to try to bring in some guests. I'm going to try to come up with some new ideas and get you guys the content that you deserve. So I just ask that you bear with us as we try to. It's been a rough couple months. I'm not trying to make excuses, but I am making excuses apparently, but they're not good ones. But if you would like to check it out, we've got all kinds of episodes available for you. Break the Seal episodes, Legacy episodes. We review some video game movies. We've got spoiler casts. Zach and Chris did a spoiler cast on Guardians of the Galaxy. Christina is going to be doing a Break the Seal on Halo. She has played through Halo 1 through Infinite. I think she didn't play Reach and ODST though, but she played the level
Oh
numbered.
no, ODST is so special.
Yeah, I know.
I yelled at her in Discord about this, but
she's got time, but and it's not like we can't do another one after she goes back and plays those. So hopefully we'll have that out for you in the very near future. But again, please be patient with us as we do try to get caught up. And for those that have stuck around with us, I really do appreciate it and hope that you'll continue to do so. But if you'd like to check out any past content and are not a subscriber, you can find out that information at patreon.com/thegocast. It really helps us out and allows us to give back to the community. I do owe you guys a giveaway. So this week I'll be putting together 2 giveaways, one for January and one for February. So stay tuned for that. With that, let's go ahead and jump into the new games that we've been playing. Zach, what is new on the horizon that people can purchase this week?
well, it might be another catch-up week, I think. I don't know. Life is Strange Remastered Collection, which is Life is Strange and Life is Strange Before the Storm, coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, PC, and Stadia February 1st. This
No
has
achievements?
I don't know. I didn't ask them. I'll get them.
Oh,
I'll get them on the phone. If this is the first side-by-side remaster trailer I think I've ever watched where I've been like, what's different though?
Oh, yeah?
I just feel like it's so close, and it's not a huge market difference like a lot of remasters, but
Okay.
that's your mileage may vary. Build your own story with Storyteller coming to Switch and PC February 1st. Dungeon crawling RPG The Sealed Ampule comes to PS4, Xbox One, and Switch February 2nd. Party-based CRPG The Waylanders comes to PC February 2nd. I guess this would be the big one. Dying Light 2 Stay Human comes to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, and PC February 4th. Ambition Record is a budget JRPG coming to Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, PC February 4th. And then Maglum Lord is another budget-style JRPG. This one's coming to PS4 and Switch February 4th. Guys, Alyssa, since you're not here often enough, what's got your interest?
Really, the only thing is Dying Light to Stay Human.
Yeah, I assume that's
I'm excited
Scott's
to play it.
answer as well.
And I haven't even played the first one, but I'm excited for this one.
What is it about this one over the other one? Is it because of all the choice and stuff?
Yeah, that's really intriguing to me, how your choices affect the narrative. Also, I'm a big fan of the voice actor who is voicing the main character. Trying to think of the main character's name right now.
I think it's Aiden. Is that right?
I wanted to say Aiden Caldwell, but I believe that's a Watch Dogs character.
So Aiden Pierce was
Aiden Pierce in Watch Dogs, but I'm pretty sure this guy's name is Aiden.
It might be Aiden Caldwell.
Yeah.
Then.
Okay.
interesting.
Who's a voice actor?
Jonas Scott. He's mostly done some anime.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't think if he's been in video games, I haven't recognized his voice.
I mean, that's the most attractive one on the list to me, but I feel like I'm over-marketed with Dying Light 2 at this point.
Right.
I feel crappy for saying that, but I feel like I read an email, 2 or 3 emails a week on Dying Light 2. I'm looking forward to its release so I can just stop hearing about it.
It's tricky because it's a joint publishing effort between Square Enix and Techland themselves, so I feel like you just get, and I guess this is a very first world problem, but if you're in a position where you get PR emails, you get bombarded from about 6 different companies about Dying Light 2 every week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been that way for about 3 years.
Right. I feel like I was super high on this game when we first saw it.
It was a very cool demo.
I think pretty much everyone was when it was first announced.
Well, and
because the time commitment that they've been talking about, and
right, because they did that blunder of a Twitter post, and they've been trying to walk it back ever since. Where they're like, well, no, you can mainline it in 20 hours. But even in the first time we saw it, Scott, remember they were talking about the choices and consequences or whatever, and they were like,
if you affect the world,
right? And they're like, if you turn on the dam or whatever, it lowers the water, and it gives you an access to a part of the map. And they're like, a part of the map that'll give you over 30 hours of potential content if you so unlock it. And I'm like, I think that 20-hour number that they're trying to backtrack to just sounds impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think a lot of it sounds cool, and of zombie games, this one probably has the most potential to catch my interest. But
parkour,
Parkour's pretty cool. Parkour and zombies is not bad. I love Mirror's Edge. R.I.P. Mirror's Edge.
Yes, Mirror's Edge.
So good. Catalyst was not what we wanted. Why did you do that?
I tried. I could not get into Catalyst at all.
It was a bizarre choice. But for me, it's a week where I shall skip because Sifu comes out next week, and I am much more excited about that.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing Nobody Saves the World. Sorry to be boring, but I am in love with that game. So I think it's really interesting on this list, though, that you've got 2 budget JRPGs that are releasing on opposite platforms.
Yeah, I think that's fun.
Like, no matter what platform you're on, you got a budget title JRPG that you can play this week, which is kind of cool. So
you can do it.
Ambition Record.
Also, what is Square Enix up to? Life is Strange Remastered, Dying Light 2, and then they have Babylon's Fall coming up. Final Fantasy Stranger Paradise. Boy, they got
the Chaos game.
That is the Chaos game.
Yes,
It's like, geez, do they have some financial deadlines they are trying to sprint towards?
It could be their fiscal year ends in March.
It does, but it's just like, man, are you guys really trying to bump those numbers up fast, huh?
Yeah,
but you know what they're bringing to February? Chaos.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I should have saw it coming, and I
was March. Like, thank you, but
yeah, the king of puns and dad jokes didn't see it coming.
Yeah. I got yelled at for making a Chumbawamba reference 2 weeks in a row, by the way, so I'm not allowed to do that anymore.
I think you just did. Now you got 3 references.
No. I didn't actually make a joke. I just referenced that I made a joke last week. So yeah.
All right. Okay. If you think that gets to skirt you by it.
Sure. Well, I guess I'll find out next week.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So wait, Alyssa, are you actually going to play any of these, or are you going to also backlog it up?
I'm going to play Dying Light.
Okay.
Check it out.
Well, yeah, I guess you have plenty of time now that you finished Tormented Souls on Xbox.
That is correct.
Alyssa, you've been checking this one out for us. I assume on your shiny new Series X, perhaps?
That is correct.
Well, so Tormented Souls very much looks like a PS2 survival horror game. Is that accurate?
I would say it is modeled after that style of game, after the original Resident Evils, Alone in the Dark, Silent Hill, that genre. It is upgraded, so you're not just constantly being screwed over by the camera or whatever. But it just feels good to play it if you were a fan of those games.
And it's not tank controls, right? It's like
you can play with tank controls if you so wish, but I did not play very long with them.
Why would you want to?
For the authentic feel.
Oh man, no, there's no way.
But I mean, to play this game, if you want to play with tank controls, you just use the D-pad. If you don't, you use the thumbstick.
I can't even play Resident Evil 4.
That is a hurtful thing that you should issue a retraction on immediately.
I seriously tried to play Resident Evil 4, and I'm like, how did we control this game? Like, I don't know. You have to hold the trigger and then stand in place. You can't strafe. You can't walk or something.
Well, that's why they're remaking it, is for losers like you. But I mean, the combat is designed around you not being able to move. That's it's definitely intentional.
Okay.
Anyway, Alyssa, someone I can actually relate to. What's the premise of this? Like, what's the story going into this game?
So you play as a woman named Caroline, and she is going to investigate this mansion turned hospital because there are twins missing. But when she gets there, she wakes up in a tub naked, which you cannot play this around your family, okay? Just don't.
Yeah.
You can see stuff.
I was going to say, if I may interject, I played the demo that was available. It's full frontal.
It is full frontal, so no children.
You don't see that every day. No children.
I did not play the demo, so I did not realize this was coming. I was like, whoa!
Yeah, that's how I felt.
When you've made the sale, stop selling it.
Right, I'm buying it right now.
But she discovers she's missing an eyeball, and she just finds these diary entries about the twins and their father, and she decides she's going to find the twins in this place that she has no idea where she's going, and you as a player don't really know.
That was
there
good.
You go, Scott.
He's back in the game.
But it does play a lot like the original Resident Evil and Alone in the Dark, where you're going around this place that you have no clue what you're doing, where you're going, what each room will have in it, but it's interesting. There are journal entries all over the place, and they tell you this really horrific story. But it's also got that aspect of when you find ammo or health, you get really excited because you don't know when you're going to find another piece of ammo or health, or I forget what it's called. It's the user recorder when you save, and it's got a certain type of film.
Okay.
8mm?
Yeah. I believe it's 8mm film. You have to use that to save your game, and saves are limited to certain, just to where those machines are, and you don't know where those are either.
Do you have
That's
a
the good
limited
stuff.
number of times you can save, like the ink ribbons back in the Resident Evil games?
Yes, it just depends on how many film rolls you have. So if you play this game, you're going to have to sit down and make sure you have a couple hours at least to play, maybe 1 hour, because it's going to take you that long to find another machine.
And I mean, you can use quick resume, right? Or does this quick resume work on this one?
I didn't actually try quick resume with it,
Because it would be cheating, Scott.
but I think it is coming to Switch at a later point, and people are saying, just, put your Switch in rest mode and play it on Switch if you don't want to have to deal with the saving.
Yeah.
But that defeats the purpose.
I don't like
Yes.
games where you can't save whenever you want to. Or I don't like limited saves. I just don't like it. F10
I'm-
all the way.
I'm excited to hear you have a weapon, because whenever they have these kind of like more indie-oriented horror games, I feel like combat is not involved.
Yeah, you're just running away or hiding all the time.
Right.
Oh, you're highly encouraged to fight back, even though you do have limited ammo. You just have to make sure every shot counts, and to use your crowbar at certain points, because you start with a crowbar, but then very quickly you find this priest who, he's just, chilling there eating some chili or something, and Caroline's asking him, what are you doing here? Why are you alone here? And he's like, I'm not alone. God brought me here.
Oh.
And he's telling her, there are these really strange people here, so take this nail gun.
Wow.
It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Take this. Handsome a nail gun.
And Caroline asks him, what about you, Father? And he just tells her, God will protect me.
Wow.
So he gives you his nail gun. And you get a couple other weapons during the game that are cool. But each enemy takes about 6 hits with the nail gun to go down. You get a shotgun later, they're about 2 hits. Same with the electric rod that you will later get.
Oh, is
So
there
it's-
limited ammo with their electric rod?
Yes, you have to find charge packs.
Oh.
See, I like when you can fight back in horror games. I actually think it makes it scarier because you have this tension of, will I have enough bullets? Is it worth this? Or, am I
Mhm.
screwing myself later? Like, I just think adds to the horror a lot.
Yeah, you can just run past the enemies if you want to, but if you kill them, they don't respawn. So if you go back to the room and you haven't killed them, they're still there waiting to attack you.
How's the
Well, that's-
creepy factor?
It's pretty creepy.
I mean, is it jump scares or is it just like psychological horror or?
There are a couple jump scares, mostly auditory. There are a couple visual, but it's mostly just never knowing when you're going to face another enemy. There is one certain enemy that will pop up randomly and follow you around until you go into another room.
Like Mr. X or?
Yeah, but it kind of looks like a mixture of a fish man and Slimer from Ghostbusters.
Wow.
He's a little goofy looking.
Interesting.
Sounds freaky though.
Yeah, I would always run for a room when I saw him. I didn't want to deal with him.
But you
Wow.
gave this game a ton of high praise. Rated
It was
very
really
high.
good. I was very invested in it, invested in the story. There are really cool moments where you get to go into videotapes, into the world that is on the videotape, and you get to go through the events, and you discover what happened to the twins and all the stuff that happened in the hospital.
Are
That's
you
cool.
are you playing as still playing as Carolyn in the world of the videotape, or is it like a?
Yes, you're still
Okay.
Caroline.
Oh, interesting. That's kind of cool.
They did
And
something similar in Resident Evil 7, right? But you weren't playing as the original character.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you as into the story as you were, it has some pretty PS2 level voice acting, right?
Yeah, the voice acting, it's really bad. I don't know if they meant to make it that way to kind of emulate the, original titles in this genre.
Oh yeah, they did it on purpose because the combat was designed around the bad voice acting. So they, clearly did it on purpose.
Are you talking about the planted feet here? They're trying to come back to you. I will say, so I did play the demo off of Alyssa's review, and I really want to buy this game when, it's an unfortunate time to try to play a new game. But
right,
it is. Yeah.
I really think this game sounds like something special. But having played the demo, yeah, I'm not totally sure the voice acting was on purpose.
Luckily, you don't have to hear it a lot. You don't have to hear it often. You really only hear it when Caroline's talking to the priest, or if she randomly makes an observation. But it's very, very seldom that you hear her speak. So you don't have to listen to it too much.
Right. I mean, it adds to the goof atmosphere, I guess. Whether intentional or not, it does help make it feel like a PS2 game.
It does.
And
there is a fixed camera, which sometimes will obscure enemies, but Caroline will aim her weapon at the enemy, even if you can't see them.
Oh, that's
so
okay.
She still hits.
That's really nice.
So you don't have to worry about being surprise attacked.
Yeah, I remembered hating fixed cameras, and then I replayed the medium, and I was like, why are we so mad at this? And I think it was just because, like, back on PS1, there was that slight load when you changed the screen.
Yeah.
And that was pretty annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this game does have a black loading screen every time you go into a different room, but on Series X, I counted, it only lasts a second. I don't know about the base Xbox One models or anything of that nature, but on Series X, it's only a second.
Nice.
Because you only work with the best hardware.
That's true.
What? So strong recommendation, eh?
Very strong recommendation if you're a fan of the survival horror genre, and if you're really itching to play a game like those original games, but not as, I don't want to say clunky, but it's a little more streamlined now, updated a bit, but still gives you that feeling.
Cool. I'm sold.
Yeah, I really want to play
Bathtub Scene alone.
It's a nice...
I mean, you do see some stuff.
Right.
If that sounds appealing to you.
My only problem with the demo was, so she takes off the bandage and sees that her eye is not there anymore. And she doesn't put the bandage back on. And that really bothered me.
Did you say she doesn't, or?
She does not in the demo, at least. So
in the game, she does put the bandage back on.
Oh, okay. That actually does fix a small quibble. It was just really weird, like walking around with your eye socket wide open. It's just very bizarre choice.
I was gonna be like,
think of
that didn't happen in the game.
That's a weird way to live, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Scott, you've been playing Windjammers 2.
I have.
I have no knowledge of this series, so you're going to have to school me.
Okay. I was introduced to the original Windjammers when I was visiting Portland over the summer, so I'm brand new to it as well. This won't take long. This is air hockey if it were a fighting game.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Is Windjammers. It's a top-down view, 1 versus 1. It's you're defending your goal with like a giant frisbee that you throw back and forth and try to get it past like Tron Deadly Disc style almost. But it's very simple in terms of the gameplay. Like right off the bat, just try to get your disc into the opposing team's goal. But there are, each. I keep trying to want to call them fighters, but they're not fighters. Each player or character that you select has different special moves that you use with very simple controls. You got a power button. You've got you can do a fighting game move where you spin the joystick around while you're hitting a button to do it. You've got specials and supers, and that make your disc when you fly it just do weird things. And the opposing team obviously has to try to defend it. It's super simple, just quick little games, but it is so much fun. It's a game that, if you were sitting next to somebody, you'd be punching each other in the shoulder, for either you messing up or them doing something stupid that frustrates you. It's on Game Pass, so you can try it out for no extra cost if you're a subscriber. I have such worries about this game because I feel like not enough people are playing it. When I was online playing it, there were 480 people playing it at the same time, and that includes all platforms, not just Xbox. So there's not a lot of people playing it. So give this game a shot because I think if they did some tweaks with the multiplayer in terms of like a King of the Hill mode. I think you get a group of people and just like watching matches and then waiting for your turn, quarter on the table kind of thing would be super fun. This is such a interesting idea that doesn't make any sense on paper, and it works so well. You can do really cool things without really even knowing what you're doing, but once you do get the strategies down and know what you're actually doing, you really can be formidable and be competitive. It's really cool. I quite enjoy this game. So Windjammers 2, play it on. It's everywhere, but might as well get it on Game Pass if you've got it. So moving on, I'd like to remind everybody about our social media platforms. First off, facebook.com/groups/thegocast. We have a couple new members over there, James Slaw Jr. and Ashton Compton. Welcome to the group. Hope you are enjoying the community. Also, our Discord server is up and running, and there's a link for that in the show notes if you'd like to join the conversations over there. We got a new member by the name of J Nalta 2. Hope you are enjoying the community over there. It is an awesome group of people. Also, if you get a chance, drop us a review wherever you listen to the podcast, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play Music. We would really love to get the podcast in the ears of more people. Also, our website is thegamingoutsider.com. There you will find all our episodes, all of our written content, and any editorials that we write. And in fact, Zach and I both have editorials up this month. First of 12, right? Or did you commit to 6 this year?
I don't think we committed to either.
We didn't commit to either. Well, we got one more than we both did last year. So, you did one last year.
Well, I think we both did our 2020 list, so yeah.
Yeah, so
we're tied. We're tied with last
2020 list. So we both did our top 10 personal favorite games of 2021, so you want to check that out. Also, Kevin's written review for Expeditions Rome is up, if you'd like to check that out. He really loved that game. And Zach's review of Blackwind, which the more I hear about that game, the more I hear you talk about that with Nindy Nation, I need to play that game. It just sounds cooler and cooler the more you guys talk about it.
It has some Zelda DNA.
Does it? Well, hey, yeah. You should have led with that. You probably would have been playing it by now.
Yeah, you would have sold Scott immediately.
I said some, okay? So don't get carried away.
All right. And let's go ahead and move on with our From the Outside In topic. We were so excited to have Alyssa back with us. We decided it was time once again for community questions. We asked all of you for topics, questions, and discussion points. Some video game related and some not so much, which is the way Zach likes it. We compiled everything we got back from Facebook, Discord, and Twitter, and we'll go through them all right now. I'll kick things off, then we'll go Zach, then we'll go Alyssa. First up is Joel Solinsky. More of an observation and talking point than a question, but over the last 2 years, we have been getting some really good indie games with great stories and interesting gameplay. In the same span, the large studios with the AAA titles are really struggling for the most part. How much of that is because the smaller studios can be more fluid about remote workers and a good work-life balance without depending on in-person collaboration? I have a feeling the smaller studios have worked this way for years and have it figured out well before they had to. Some most likely can't afford an office, so it was out of necessity. You guys have any thoughts on Joel's comment?
I think you raised an interesting point. But AAA was kind of in trouble before they had to work remotely.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's so much money and so many outside interests in the AAA development that it's just harder to have these kind of focused and interesting ideas.
Plus, too many cooks.
Right? Yeah, plenty of cooks, and I don't mean to disparage. Right? Like they're triple games we love. Right? Last of Us Part 2, Final Fantasy 7. Great games from recent times. Guardians of the Galaxy. So it is possible. It's just, I think it's easier for everybody on the same page the less people you have.
Right. I mean, look at some of the stories we heard from what's Jason Schreier's first book?
I can't remember.
Blood, Sweat, and Pixels.
Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Where some of the smaller teams.
Press Reset, or is that the second one?
Was the second one.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. I should know. I reviewed them.
Yeah, but when you hear those stories, the teams that started out with like 2 or 3 members and then expanded to 6 or 7 or 12, it got hairier. Now imagine that compounded by how many people are in some of these AAA studios. It's got to be nuts,
right?
Just trying to make so much happen and trying to make so many people happy at the same time. But that said, again, referencing those books that I mentioned already, I don't know if easy is the right word to describe what indie developers have to do. I mean, they don't have to worry about the corporate stuff nearly as much, but getting your foot in any place and getting published and, actually selling your product is got to be so much scarier. I mean, at a place like, where you're working with a corporation, you're getting a paycheck, right? If the game doesn't do well, you're still getting paid. Whereas if you put your entire livelihood into an independent studio and that is your job and the game doesn't sell, you're starting all over again.
Yeah, and speaking to Joel talking about good work-life balance with indie studios, if you read those books, you'll learn that there's really not a good work-life balance for indie studios there. And it's because you don't have that paycheck, right? Like, so you are crunching mostly, I assume mostly out of passion, right? Because you care about Stardew Valley. Mm-hmm. So you're willing to put 100 hours work week into it when it's yours. It's the problem with the corporate world is that they're forcing you to do it even though it's just your job.
Right.
It's probably, if you're working at Bungie in the art team, you might like making guns, but I doubt like your heart's probably not in it the same way if you were with your two buddies making a whole world from the ground up,
Right. And a lot of those families, those stories that you hear, their families suffered. Right. So-and-so is staying up till all hours of the night and there is no work-life balance, at least in the stories that I heard. Granted, we were hearing all the bad ones.
Yeah, there's no point reporting on the good ones, I guess, right?
Yeah. So we don't hear about those. But Alyssa, you got any thoughts?
Pretty much the same as you guys about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know if, really struggling seems like a you could interpret that word a couple ways too. They're still making money, right?
Yeah.
There's just we hear about that crunch more than we do when it's self-inflicted.
Right.
But self-inflicted crunch is also not good either.
I mean, something obviously, is not going well. Like, we expect delays with every AAA release date announced, like it's, so they're definitely struggling. They definitely don't have it figured out,
Yep. All right,
That's
next one, Zach.
Paul Hine says, what's a style of game that you played the crap out of when you were younger, but just can't stomach anymore? For example, sports games, FPSs, MMOs, battle royales, puzzle games, platformers. For me, I just can't do platformers anymore. Don't have the patience and probably not the reflexes anymore. Also, there's no way you could get me into a brand new MMO either. No longer here for the grind. I might revisit one that I've invested in already, Star Wars, The Old Republic, or World of Warcraft, but there's a slim chance in hell that I would spend the time getting into something new.
I'm with you on that. I'm not doing it.
It's just so intimidating. I really want to play Final Fantasy XIV, but it's just so intimidating.
Yeah. I don't even know. Is there a subscription model with that one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe it's like $15 a month or so.
Right.
There's something about paying for a game and then feeling obligated to play it in a window.
Yeah.
That drives me crazy.
You hate time crunches, right?
I do.
That's a self-inflicted one.
Yeah, totally.
Or if you're like, well, if I don't play 80 hours this month, is it really worth the $15?
Right.
And then you're comparing it against, you're like, well, I'm paying $15 for Game Pass and I get hundreds of games. Why am I paying $15 for just one game?
Wow, that's a really good point.
So I'm just saying, I could see where that would come into your mind, especially.
Mm-hmm. So what about his question? What is a game you played a lot of and no longer can or even like? Alyssa?
Well, for me, growing up, my uncle had me playing action, adventure, survival horror, and I still love those to this day. So I mostly play the same things I played as a kid.
Okay.
But I will say, my friends and I, when we were in grade school, elementary school, whatever you want to call it, we always would go on the computers, which this is back when the internet was pretty new, and play doll dress-up games. We played the crap out of those games. We just loved, and we'd print the dolls out and everything because we were so proud of our outfits we made.
Oh wow! Did you ever play Princess Maker?
I don't actually remember the names.
Okay.
It's very possible.
Yeah,
we played it.
I definitely didn't. That would be weird.
Yeah, how'd you know the name? By the way,
I don't know what you're talking about. What was the question?
I don't play those anymore, but
Zach does.
I used to.
I'm subscribed.
That's really the only thing I can think because I played the same genres I did as a kid.
Wow.
Okay, Zach, how about you?
Yeah, MMOs come to mind because I used to be way into EverQuest and oh boy, that's escaping me now. But I used to play some MMOs, but it's really not like I can't stomach them. Although the combat is kind of lame in most of them. It's just it is really a time commitment. But for me, the genre I absolutely can't stomach is like looter games like Diablo or
really?
Torchlight kind of games. Like I just can't stand them anymore. And I remember when because I played hundreds, thousands of hours of Diablo 2 when I was younger, and it's just now as an adult I just find them so boring. Especially like I don't like when I was a kid. I guess
you won't play Borderlands with me.
When I was a kid, I cared, I guess, about the 2.2% slashing damage increase, but now I just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not mechanics that interests me. And obviously, I seem to be in the minority based on the sales numbers, but I just can't do it.
Yeah. I should side note, by the way, I forgot to mention at the top of the show that I did play some more Borderlands with my my team this weekend. So shout out to Joel, CJ, and Christina. That was a lot of fun. As for me, the style of game, competitive first-person shooters. I mean, I go back. I played a ton of GoldenEye. I was good at GoldenEye. I was pretty good at Gears of War. If you remember, Zach, I held my own pretty well.
Pretty
good. Pretty good.
I wasn't the weakest link.
No, we were good.
It was a lot of fun. Good. But I mean, that's all we played. Like there was like a good month of that's just you just came home and played Gears. It wasn't even like, and that's where a lot of people are now with these multiplayer games.
There also wasn't 4 brand new games coming out every week.
Exactly.
Then
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we didn't have quite the disposable income, and you had to make a game last, and plus we were just having fun with friends.
We should get matching tattoos one day, Scott. That just got room.
Got room, like got on my arm and room on yours.
I meant we both got room with the question mark, but
I want a tattoo also.
Got room tattoo.
Be great.
Make one where we bring our fists together and you have all of them in there and it
got
makes
room in that
phrase.
Question mark. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah,
like that.
But yeah, I just really can't do. I tried. I mean, I know you.
Hey, Halo Infinite, man.
I remember I did, and they put me in that.
That's their fault, not yours, not Halo's. It's their fault. They put you in the Call of Duty mode in Halo.
Oh no!
Yeah. Listen, they put him in the Halo mode with no armor and just the burst assault rifle. What? No, man, this is weird. This is not Halo. They picked the one mode that wasn't Halo.
Not even any armor.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah, but I mean, even outside of that, I got into Titanfall a little bit.
Yeah,
I prestiged Titanfall. Yeah, so I got into that a lot bit. But I didn't do anything on 2 other than the campaign, which is interesting. That's a campaign I need to run through again, by the way.
Oh, man, the multiplayer was... Well, you can't play it now. It's just loaded with bots, but...
Oh, really?
Man, that multiplayer was so good.
I think I just don't have the time to get good anymore. And plus, I have the attention span of a fruit fly when it comes to new games coming out. And I just want to be playing either something that, something new and shiny, or I want to go back to something that's, familiar and comfy.
Well, there used to be an era where there'd be one good game a month, even when like the first Titanfall is coming out. Mm-hmm. And now it really is like most games are at least good now. Like they figured out how to make games.
Mm-hmm.
And
we're still complaining.
It's just a lot. It's a lot to keep up with.
No, I know. So yeah, Paul, thanks for the question. That was a good one. Alyssa, you're up.
Sean Coates says, so I have a follow-up question to last week's topic. With Activision Blizzard and all its dev studios now part of the greater Microsoft Game Studios umbrella, do you guys think that these studios will only continue to work on IPs of their former overlords? Or do you think it's possible there will be some cross-pollination with other acquired studios? Toys for Bob collabs with Rare on a new Banjo-Kazooie game. Perhaps Blizzard makes a Fallout RTS in the style of StarCraft? Or maybe Wolfenstein Doom weapons and maps will come to Call of Duty.
That sounds amazing. But, I don't know. I would love for it to happen, just like to try stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. It's really going to be interesting to see what Microsoft does with all that.
I think you need to do the crossover platformer. With Banjo-Kazooie, Crash, and Spyro teaming up.
Oh my god.
I mean,
you just blew my mind. That would be so freaking great.
Right? Would that not be excellent?
That has to happen. That just has to happen.
Like,
That's like the trilogy, like
right? Those are icons.
man, what would you call it? What would you call that game?
Oh boy, I don't know. That's platformer all stars.
That's what I was thinking in my head, Zach.
Oh yeah, like just really throw.
You can't call it Spyro. You can't call it Crash. You know what I mean? You have to have all three somehow, but you don't want to be too much of a mouthful.
Right, unless you're like Banjo-Kazooie crashes into Spyro. It'd be a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
Do you remember when the PlayStation Move came out and PlayStation did a crossover with Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, and Ratchet and Clank, but they made it a Move exclusive action game instead of a 3D platformer? So nobody cared.
I don't remember that.
Exactly.
I don't remember that either.
Yes, but that should have been one of the biggest crossovers in gaming history.
Yeah.
But they just but making it a Move exclusive and an action game totally ruined any chance. So this is what I'm saying. This is the opportunity. And with the Nintendo love, maybe Nintendo will let them borrow. Obviously not Mario, but maybe they'll they'll throw Luigi a bone or something.
Yeah.
They let them have Donkey Kong in there, because that's a rare boy.
Oh man, Donkey Kong and Banjo-Kazooie.
Wouldn't that be excellent?
Yeah, like because Donkey Kong 64 and Banjo-Kazooie came out at the same time. They were very similar and 3D platformers.
But in the world of realism, Sean. Yeah, I think Toys for Bob should make Platformer All Stars. Because as much as I would love,
I think that's a good idea.
I would love the name Rare to be on the box, but that Rare is not the platforming studio anymore. Mm-hmm. But Toys for Bob just put out Crash 4 and the Spyro remasters, and they're ready for it.
Dude, I seriously think that's a great freaking idea.
I think so too.
You need to pitch it to Toys for Bob.
Phil, call me up. I'm available. I will not cost even $1 billion to acquire.
Not even one. 1/60th of the cost. Oh, boy. Anyway, that was a great question. Moving on to Discord. Kevin Honigford. Let's jump forward in time to 2027 when Microsoft will own the planet. Well, them and Disney, right?
Right.
Microsoft and Disney. They are so enamored with your video game prowess that they reach out to you to join their team. You are told you can take on any role you'd like except CEO or the game tester. What would you choose? That is the easiest question I've had so far for me, but I'll let you guys start.
Well, first of all, why would you choose to be a game tester?
Yeah, I feel like game tester sounds a lot better, but I've heard it's horrible.
It's like, you hear the stories about you just swung Kratos' Blade of Chaos into every pixel of every level to make sure you don't clip through. That does not sound fun.
No, it doesn't.
No. It's not just like playing the game to enjoy it, it's trying to break the game.
Right, and not even in fun ways.
Right.
In
just
tedious
in stupid ways, like trying to think like a,
speedrunner, I guess.
That plays games or speedrunners, yeah.
It's just like, how can I break this?
Yeah.
Boy, Alyssa, do you have an answer for this?
I'd go with writer.
I assume that's what Zach's was going to be as well.
Yeah, see, I'm actually just going to step it right all the way up to creative director here.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah. Apparently I should be creative director over at Toys for Bob. Just make
should.
Just head up Platformer All Stars. But yeah, I would like to, a writer obviously is what came to my first one. I'm like, you know what? I can lead a team Ken Levine style. Really get in there, really get in the muck, and just kind of lead all these teams and try to make a game. That sounds perfect.
I'd be honored to be led by you, Zach.
Yeah, you could be head writer, but don't ever mistake who's really in charge.
Yes,
okay.
Head writer. Yes, I'm taking it.
I would definitely be writing on this project, of course, much like a Ken Levine. But you can be my collaborator.
Nice.
We'll have to have a picture of Gamora between us.
Yes, obviously. Just taped to a blow up doll or something.
Wow. So
Scott,
there's going to be all kinds of lawsuits at Microsoft when Zach and Alyssa join. I'll be your PR rep because that's what I want to do.
We'll need you.
Oh, really? Okay. I thought you were being facetious at first. You want to do PR?
No, I legit want my dream job right now would be to be PR for whatever company, like trying to get the word out and doing what people who are sending me emails do.
Right, guys. We have a whole Platformer All Stars team brewing here.
I know, dude. Let's do it. Well, that's such an easy sell. That sells itself.
You would think so, right? Like if I was Phil, especially Phil, he would obviously include Voodoo Vince on the roster for some reason, but this should be an easy pitch to him.
It seems very easy.
Banjo, Crash Spyro, and Blinks the Time Sweeper all teaming up.
Oh my goodness.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
All right, Microsoft. So you've got a creative director, a writer, and a PR rep all on standby.
And one hell of a pitch.
Yeah. And you've got 5 years to find us.
Right. We're here. Phil.
Yeah, let's do it. I like it. Zach, you're up.
Drew Ross writes in, with the Super Bowl coming up, what are some of your favorite things to eat during any big game or any event if you don't like sports?
I mean, nachos are the easy. But nachos have to have shredded cheese on them instead of melty cheese.
Why would you not have both?
I don't like melty cheese.
Is it a texture thing?
I don't like the flavor of nacho cheese.
Oh.
I like melty cheese.
I mean, have you like gone with like a nice queso or anything like that?
See, I don't like quesos tend to have the tomatoes in it. I don't like tomatoes in my queso, so
okay.
Okay. I'm very basic. I used to eat with my nachos just ground beef, cheese, black olives, and a little sour cream. That's it. I've expanded and moved on to like some onions and jalapenos and stuff, but nachos are an easy one.
But you don't use nacho cheese.
What?
What kind of cheese are on those chips? Nacho cheese.
We're killing it today.
Oh my goodness.
Come on, use that one of your students. They're going to love it.
Is it emotional damage? That's what.
No,
it's
like nachos. Like they're not your
Oh.
cheese.
Oh, I've used that. I know the joke.
Yeah. Okay.
They've told me that one.
All right. They should.
But,
probably got off a popsicle stick.
Maybe I just stopped getting jalapeno business. Oh, that's another one. Anyway, also tater tot casserole. Tater tot casserole with beefaroo seasoned salt on the top of it.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm telling you, the beefaroo seasoned salt really makes a difference too. So that and beer.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes the Packers loss go down easier.
Oh my goodness, you went there. What about you guys?
Oh boy.
I don't watch sports, and I'm not a big snacker if I'm watching anything. If I eat anything, it'll be just some chips or popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't care to eat while I'm watching things.
Really? Oh man, that's the best.
Mostly because I can hear myself chewing, and it distracts me from what I'm watching.
We have to turn the volume
My problem is getting stuff on your fingers. I'm the weird guy that eats popcorn out of a large, tall tumbler. Like I'll put white cheddar Cheez-Its or white cheddar popcorn and just like pour it into my mouth so I'm not getting the
Dust
gross
on your
stuff on
fingers?
my fingers. Yeah.
Yeah, I always that's why I like eat my chips when I'm watching something, because I can't mix game controller and dust fingers. That would be terrible.
That's the worst.
Those people are monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I guess my go-to snack is Doritos Dinamitas Chili Lime. Very spicy rolled Dorito. It's very delicious. Nachos are very good during games. I mean, wings are always obviously very good, but I eat those most days already, so I don't really know if that counts.
I prefer chicken nuggets with wing sauce on them. I do not call them wings or I get yelled at, but
yeah, I'll call them boneless wings. It's what says right in there in the box.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, they're basically boneless wings.
Oh, I guarantee you there's going to be comments on me saying boneless wings.
Right.
I'm not a real man.
Bunch of elitists.
Because I prefer to eat with...
I prefer boneless.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why.
I do as well.
I'll tell you why. The bone just gets in the way. It's slowing me down.
It does.
I'm trying to get this food going.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get as much meat with the bone.
Yeah, I know. These little bone-in weeders all getting all prissy. They got to nibble away at the wing. No, I ain't got time for that. I'm here to eat.
One time I went to Hooters, and the waitress actually sat down next to me, put on plastic gloves, and deboned my wings for me without asking.
It's very emasculating.
Well, it's weird. I don't want somebody handling my food.
Well, she got gloves on.
It doesn't matter.
Well, I'm here. I mean, I'm just... No cook in the world has gloves on while they're making their food.
I know.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get you. That's a weird thing to do.
It is a weird thing to do. Like,
Yeah.
not like, hey, would you like me to debone your wings for you? Just sat down and started doing it.
Yeah, that's very strange. Very, very strange. I will say, you know what? I am rather partial to a spinach and artichoke dip on a game day.
Nice.
That's probably because my father, I think, was quite obsessed with it for Super Bowls and stuff.
Nice.
So I just had
My wife also makes these things. You know those crescent rolls that you get like from Pillsbury?
Yeah.
She takes those, but she rolls like a cocktail weenie in that. Puts a fork or puts a toothpick in it. Maybe a little piece of cheese in that. Puts that in the oven.
Is that a pig in a blanket?
Pig in a blanket. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
First time I
said that.
First time I had those was at a monster truck rally.
Oh wow!
Oh,
My stepdad bought us VIP tickets, so we went out in the pit crew area, and like someone had brought in pigs in a blanket. It's really funny.
Wow, that's a strangely specific story.
Yeah, hey man, Gravedigger was the bee's knees when I was a youth.
Yeah, I bet.
I just
Never done that. I've
well,
been to
you buy the VIP ticket so you can meet all the racers, but while you're waiting, you're just waiting in with the pit crew. It was just really funny, like the pit crew members like put together a little buffet.
uh-huh.
It was just really funny. It was very kind of home. It was very homey. It was very nice.
Nice.
What a weird memory.
All right,
I
next
just conjured up.
question. Alyssa, you were up.
this next question. Oh, Mark, I got your name again.
Oh, boy.
Mark Szymanski.
I think that's right.
If this-
Right?
Yeah.
There you go, Mark.
I can say it correctly now. I just have to point it out every time. If this has been asked recently and I missed it, please skip my question. It's been a while since I've heard. What are your top 3 games of all time? What recent game, if any, threatened to boot another from the podium?
Oh boy.
Good question.
This is a toughie.
I mean, I could give you my top 3 pretty easily.
Well, that's what
Mhm.
isn't that what he asked?
No, I know, but in terms of like if any threatened to boot, to make the top 3. I don't know. I know Zach has had struggle with that more
Right.
than any of us, but Link to the Past, my favorite game of all time. Can I count Pinball FX?
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Pinball FX and
Just the concept of pinball, number 2.
sure. And boy, the third one is where it struggles. I'm toying between. I'm thinking Portal 2.
Wow. Portal 2, huh?
Portal 2 is a game being replayable for me is a big win, and that's a game that I was going back to and replaying once a year for a while there.
Yeah.
I haven't done it, and I just started doing it a few months ago. I need to go back and do it again. It's just such a good game. It's just such a clever concept. But Super Metroid might be close. I was toying between Super Metroid and Portal 2.
Portal 2 is
terms
also wise in that they never made a third one because I feel like they used all of their ideas for 2.
Possibly. They could come up with more ideas.
You're right, because I'm sure I played the first Portal. I'm sure I thought the same thing, where I'm like, I don't know how you would make a sequel to that.
Right.
And apparently the answer was Paint for some reason.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what game recently might have I don't know if I have one that like really would have taken one of those 3 down.
He said what recent game, if any?
Um.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh man, dude, that's actually a really good answer.
That game is exquisite.
But I didn't replay it,
Right.
which I know that's a tall order. But
Well, it's
if
also-
that came out,
You're also
Go
just
ahead.
at a different point in your life where you don't replay
That's-
games
that's
like
true.
you used to.
I tell you though, if that came to Xbox, I would replay that again in a heartbeat.
Sure. Yeah. Well, they would give you a reason to in that scenario.
Right. Like if I were to replay it now, it'd be just like,
Have you played the
which is a
Yuffie-
weird thing to say
have
in
you played the
today's day and
Yuffie-
age.
Have you played the Yuffie DLC?
No, have you?
No, I did.
I haven't either.
I just got my disc PS5 copy in the mail. But
Uh-huh.
we'll be checking it out shortly.
Oh, okay. So I'm worried about going back to it because it's been so long since I played it. Like, would I have to relearn how to play Final Fantasy VII Remake?
Well, wouldn't it teach you? if
I
you
don't
replay it?
know. I don't know.
You're talking
The
about like,
DLC?
the DLC. Well, you're playing as Yuffie, a whole new character. Yeah. It tutorializes, from my
I
understanding.
would hope so.
Well, she
I don't know. I've
plays
been listening
very
to the
differently.
soundtrack, the remake soundtrack, a lot recently.
Uh-huh.
It's just so good. Just
Well,
so
yeah.
much to love about that game.
I mean, it's borderline flawless.
Yeah. So what about you?
It shouldn't have been
Those
that
are
good.
my 3.
I don't know. What about Alyssa?
Okay, so my favorite game is Mass Effect 2.
Okay.
Respectful
And then
choice. Where do you
2 is just...
Where do you land?
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where do you land on 1 and 3? Mass Effect.
I think I would go 2, 1, 3.
Yeah, but are like 1 and 3 much further down the list, or?
Yeah, they wouldn't even make my top 10.
Damn, that's fascinating. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's fair with Mass Effect. 2 is just a step above.
It's just so good.
Yeah. Sorry to interject. I was just very curious.
Oh, that's fine. My number 2 game would be the original Tomb Raider, just because I played it so many times, and it was, I think, my first game I ever played.
Oh, man,
and then 3 is really hard for me to pick, because there's a part of me that wants to say Pokemon Silver, because, again, that was a game I played tons as a kid and loved, but I think I'm going to have to give it to a game people probably wouldn't suspect, and that's Deadly Premonition, the director's cut.
Whoa.
Wow, very cool.
Because I love that game. I wish it was brought to modern consoles. Just the director's cut. Don't have to do anything special. Just bring it to the current day consoles. Because I love it. I would love to play it again. I've only played it on PS3. But I love the story. I love all the goofiness of it. I just need it.
Wow, I really got to play Deadly Premonition.
And I don't think there really have been any games that would unseat any of those recently, in my opinion. I can't think... Nothing's coming to mind that would enter the top 3 and knock one of them out.
I feel like it's hard to replace them because we play them and there's so much more out, and we played through them so quickly and we don't return to them. Whereas the games we played as kids, we were forced to play through them, even if we didn't like them. You played them over and over again because it was a lack of options. Now something can be like a fantastic game, and I'll never play it again. Horizon Zero Dawn, I played once. Last of Us Part 2, I played once. Breath of the Wild, I played once. You know what I mean? I just don't see myself going back to those games anymore.
I'll definitely never play Breath of the Wild again. Even though I love it.
I just don't see myself doing it, and I own it. I feel bad saying that I'm not going to play
the
game again.
I put 150 hours into it for one playthrough. I can't imagine ever playing it again.
Right. Well, to be fair, you didn't have to do 150 hours to play through it, but...
have you played Breath of the Wild? There's just no other option. You can't help yourself. It's so well designed. Every time you turn a corner, there's an adventure waiting.
See, now you're making me want to go into it again, because I did not dive that deep into it. So.
Did you do the DLCs?
No.
Oh, man. Good stuff.
Yeah?
You get a motorcycle.
Which is bizarre to me. That
yes, it is. Absolutely.
Just doesn't feel... Anyway, Zach?
Yeah, well, you can go to the website right now. Look at my top 20 games of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pretty easy answer. But
hasn't changed this month yet, has it?
No. It's not. Thanks. For making me feel bad.
I'm just teasing you, man.
It's all right. So I'll give you the top 5 because I can remember the top 5 on the list. Number 5 is Prince of Persia: Sands of Time. Number 4 is Final Fantasy 9. Number 3 is Drakengard 3. Number 2 is Nier Automata, and number 1 is Nier Replicant. There's a noticeable theme in the top 3.
Yeah, I would say
so. So Mark, your answers, the top 3 games of all time are: has Yoko Taro made a game recently? And I only pick Nier Replicant because it's just better in every way than the Nier 2010 game.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the fact there's no Papa Nier.
I am sad about Papa Nier, but I also had to admit that the story just makes a lot more sense with Brother Nier.
Mm-hmm.
All of the qualms I might have had about Papa Nier, like screaming at Kaine, "You and I are friends now," works a lot better when it's a teenaged boy.
True.
Just talking to this smoking hottie. So yeah, those are my favorite games of all time, and I feel. Was that?
I'm thinking of 2 games that would have made your top 3, or I thought were going to make your top 3 that aren't on there.
Like
more recent games, like
Fallen
to answer
Order.
the second half of this question. Yep,
Fallen Order definitely is in contention. Absolutely, I assume the other one is Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Spider-Man's great. But much like you, I kind of value replayability in a different way. Where like I kind of like I like to re-experience the story or whatever.
City.
Arkham City is also obviously I play that all the time. But I value story a lot. Arkham City story is kind of whack. It's kind of like greatest hits of the Rogues Gallery, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of sheer gameplay, Arkham City is definitely up there. But Spider-Man, yeah, is exquisite. It's a very slow first 8 or so hours when you're replaying it. Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because when you think about that game, you think about Doc Ock and everything.
Right.
But he doesn't show up until almost 8 or 10 hours into the game.
That's a good point.
You know, and you kind of forget that. And Fallen Order is great, but it has some qualms that show up more on replays. But yeah, I'm very to Scott's making fun of me point. I'm very secure in the list as it stands right now, which is good.
All right, we got one more question. I think this one is mine from Twitter. Gunny Chief. I believe Gunny Chief is from the Horrible Gamers podcast. The Steam Deck release is just around the corner. Are you picking one up? And do you think this will be as successful as the Nintendo Switch? Boy, I have one pre-ordered, but I'm in the second batch. I'm still deciding whether or not I'm going to keep it because I'm kind of glad I'm in the second batch so I can kind of see how everybody reacts to it. I'm not like, right there on the front. It's also pricey. I gotta save some nickels and dimes, but successful as the Nintendo Switch, my initial reaction to that was like, come on. But then I was like, wait a minute. It's Steam. It could.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know about as successful as Nintendo Switch, right? Because that's just a whole other level of success, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But
all you gotta do is change a color palette and people will buy another one.
Right. Or issue a screen rehaul that the PlayStation Vita had 10 years ago.
Right.
And that's enough for people to buy it again. So it's a whole different level of momentum. But I think it has the potential. I think it'll be a slow burn if it gets there.
Mm-hmm.
It'll kind of be like Oculus Quest, where the price point will have to meet the word of mouth excitement at a certain level.
Right.
But I think it has potential because what it's offering is super cool. And for somebody like me who wants to play PC games but doesn't really like the PC experience, this is a great kind of halfway point.
And I think the key will be accessibility. How easy is it for someone that doesn't PC game to hop in and play things? Will it work as easily as the Switch? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like user interface and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because the Switch is simple and clean. You're right. That is a big part of it.
Simple to clean?
It's simple. The interface is simple and clean. Like everything about
simple
it
and
is,
clean. I thought you said it was simple to clean. I'm like,
like simple and clean. It's the way that you're making me feel tonight. It's time.
Oh my goodness.
Kingdom Hearts? Nobody?
Nope.
Nobody? All right. Okay.
I was playing in my head now that you pointed it out.
What do you think, Alyssa? Do you think the Steam Deck will be as successful as the Switch?
I don't know if it will be as successful. It potentially could, because like you guys mentioned, if you're not already playing on a PC, it gives you the option to play Steam games and PC games. But it's also got a very hefty price point, and especially with the different tiers of, having the different gigabytes of memory, upping the price point with each bigger, what do you call it? I'm not a
package?
tech person. Yeah, basically every package, yeah. That can be an issue. The Switch is a set price for each different model, which I guess you could argue this is as well. I just feel like the Switch is maybe a little more accessible to most people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got the Nintendo backing as well.
Oh, yeah, it's got Mario Kart.
Steam is just, right now, PC gaming.
Yeah, like what is the equivalent to the Steam Deck that would what is the Mario Kart equivalent? Like that game sold so many Switches, right?
Right.
What game on Steam is going to sell Steam Decks to your average gamer? I mean, the sports games even on PC? I don't even know. You can't play Madden and stuff on PC, can you?
I think you can, right? I don't know.
We're awesome.
Yeah.
Now, if they were to come out with, Half-Life 3, that'd be a different story.
Right, Half-Life 3 Steam Deck exclusive. I'd buy it right away.
Yeah.
I'd buy it, snatch it up.
They would riot, dude.
No, people would riot online and then buy it anyway.
Yeah.
It would scream and they would kick things, but then you're like, Half-Life 3 included with every Steam Deck. You're there.
Oh, as a pack-in for free?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That would be a killer app move.
Yep.
It would.
Yep. 100%. So, Gunny, thank you so much for the tweet there. Appreciate that. We don't get a lot of love over on Twitter, so it's cool to see that. And thank you to everybody else that wrote in with questions for us to answer. It is always a fun time each month to do. And next week's topic, Chris is coming back. He wanted to talk about modern retro consoles. What am I talking about? Like the NES Classic, the SNES Classic, the PlayStation Classic, the Game Boy Classic has been rumored. All these modern consoles that are offering older games. Do we need them? And how do we feel about them? That's what Chris wanted to talk about next week. So stay tuned next week. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Zach, any parting words or recommendations before we leave for the week?
You can always put your principles before a paycheck.
All right. Well said. Alyssa, how about you?
I'll actually recommend something.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's an anime. You guys should expect it by now. And when I say this, don't let it put you off. It is a BL, which means boy love, but it is very sweet and wholesome. Nothing happens. Nothing, scandalous.
Boy like boy on boy? Or is that what that means?
It's a genre in anime and manga. It is male romances.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But this is two high school boys.
Yes.
Very clean, very wholesome. Sasaki and Miyano. And it just makes me happy every week. I need it after watching Attack on Titan.
Oh boy.
Sasaki and Miyano, it's so cute. You see these two boys. That one is a couple of years older, and he sees the other boy, Miyano, reading manga, and he asks him why he's reading, and, Miyano's like, I'm not reading. He's a huge fan of BL mangas. He's like, I'm not reading this. No. But Sasaki wants to borrow it. And then Sasaki gets into the mangas, and they, keep borrowing and giving back mangas, and they develop a friendship. But then you can also tell that they're kind of falling for each other. And right now, nothing has happened between the two, but you could tell that Miyano's questioning whether he likes guys as well as girls, and Sasaki is fully aware of the fact that he likes guys. But it's just so sweet, and everyone's cool with the fact that Sasaki likes guys. And it's just funny, the jokes they make about BL manga. And it just makes you happy every single week. And it also kind of is infuriating because you're like, when are you two going to get together?
You're trying
it's
to
been 4
ship
episodes already.
What's it called again?
Sasaki and Miyano. Those are the two characters' names as well. So,
nice.
I mean, the title ships them.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the direct approach.
Pretty much. As for me, I feel like I haven't given you guys an update on my reading recently. I'm still working my way through the Harry Potter books. I am on book 5, The Order of the Phoenix.
It's a good book.
I'm near the end of that one. I'm remembering it being a lot different from the movie. Mm-hmm. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I feel like things are happening a lot differently than I remember. But I will have to report back when I watch the movie. It's kind of funny, like being in the world that we are now and reading Order of the Phoenix, where Harry Potter has experienced, has literally been in the presence of Voldemort, and is trying to warn everybody that he's attacking and killing people. And he's getting in trouble for sharing with everybody at school about the dangers of, I don't know. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, it's you're getting in trouble for sharing the truth.
Right. And I just, considering who the author is, I find that very funny. Again, not that, I try not to get political, but it's just weird how I'm in moments like that in real life where I'm watching media or consuming media from the past before the pandemic, and then looking at it through a different lens. Like I was watching a music video. I was watching music videos at my buddy's house on Saturday. We were watching music videos from like the late 90s and the early thousands. And I cannot remember for the life of me which music video it was, but somebody was wearing a mask. And it was to me, that was just normal. And it took me a second to realize, wait a minute, this was from the 90s. Why is that person wearing a mask? Like he was doing a dance or something like that in front of the camera. And it took me a second to realize that would have been weird in the 90s. But seeing it now, it's like, I don't know. It's interesting to go back and look at this media that we've grew up with and seeing it through a different lens. But Harry Potter book, Order of the Phoenix, is very enjoyable. I'm looking forward to, because there's only 2 more after this one, right?
Right. Half-Blood Prince is my favorite book.
Yeah. And then what's the last one? The
Deathly Hallows.
Deathly Hallows.
So looking forward to doing that. What'll be nice is when I finish the last one is I actually have 2 movies, because I've been waiting to the end of each book to like watch the movie. And then I'll actually have 2 movies to watch when that's done. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'm going to have to get back to Game of Thrones at some point too. I'm like in a weird spot where I'm like almost scared to go back and do another Game of Thrones book, because those books are very intimidating in terms of length and depth, but I want to do it.
I just also think you need to be paying more attention because of the language, even like just, more sophisticated writing, I would presume.
It is, yeah.
Or
yeah,
dense,
I mean,
rather. Dense
I
writing.
only read the first 3. It's yeah, I mean, Harry Potter's pretty light, but you can tell that the audience grew with Harry Potter, much like the films.
Right. No, of course, yeah. It was a masterstroke from J.K. Rowling in that regard.
Yeah, for sure. So I would love to hear anybody else's thoughts on the books and how they compare, because I love doing this. Mm-hmm. I'm almost bummed that there's not like another one off the top of my head, like where you got to.
Oh, that was just an example. Sorry.
I mean, doesn't he like not understand what a run-on sentence is? Isn't that the joke with
there's a lot of poems.
Like he'll just like write complete nonsense without a period. Anyway, that is it for the show. Thank you everybody for listening. The Gaming Outsider, I'd like to remind you, is produced by Nate Lucas, and all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemage and Metroid Metal. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson and Alyssa White, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.